Jackson at the 15 after the free kick. Going right is Tyreek Hill. He's got 2 blocks. He's at the 40. He's at the 45, 50, 40-yard line off the free kick. 30, 20, 15, 10, 5, and high fives. DeAnthony Thomas as he goes into the end zone. Touchdown!
Ferguson remains in the backfield. Luck fires it inside. Oh, there goes T.Y. Hilton. It's a foot race. And there he goes. Touchdown. 63 yards.
What is up, guys? Welcome to the CFFL podcast. On today's show, we are going to go over the draft and just what I think about everyone's team. I also took some interviews of some of the other owners right after the draft, so I get to kind of see what their thoughts are on their team and some other people's teams. But yeah, that's what's on the show today. So announcements. First off, the IR process. So we added the IR this year. If you would like to put someone on the IR, you need to message someone in the fellowship, and we can place them on IR for you. The reason we have to do it this way is because, unfortunately, the website doesn't let us specify who you can and cannot put on IR. So right now, that's the best way we got to regulate who everyone puts on IR. So just send a message to Matt, Michael, myself, or Nick. And as long as they qualify for the IR, that is, they actually are on their team's IR, then we'll put them in your IR spot for you. Also, we got the football pool picks. We got the pick'em and the survival pool. Please make sure you get those in before the game starts on Thursday. We might still be able to fix it if you don't, but the system is a little funny if we don't get those in before the kickoff on the first game of the week. So please try and get those in before the game starts tomorrow, Thursday. And then bonus fab. I mentioned this at the draft, but for those of you that weren't there, please remember that you can earn 2 bonus fab every week just by posting a quality article, poll, or video. The fellowship will deem whether or not it's quality or not. Today we have a few people that I interviewed. The fellowship and I have talked, and we can qualify that as them participating in the league this week and earning their 2 fab. So congrats to you 3, then myself, and we'll see if anyone else puts anything up. Just make sure you get your stuff in before the final game kicks off on Monday in order to get credit for your 2 fab this week. All right, moving on. All right, so the draft recap. Today's show, I'm going to go through everyone's draft, kind of show you here on the website where you can go to look at people's drafts and just get you more comfortable with the website as we go throughout the season. I got some awards to hand out. I got Best Value Quarterback, Best Value Tight End, Best Wide Receiving Core, Best Running Back Core, Worst Draft Pick, Best Draft Pick, and Best Draft. So I'll be giving those out kind of towards the end of my draft review. So first off, you can see here this draft button. We're on our league's homepage. If you click just draft, it'll bring you to a draft page going over everything here. We're going to go to full draft report, and then we're just going to go through franchise by franchise. So we'll start off with the cleansing. So the cleansing, he started off his draft with A.J. Green, DeMarco Murray, T.Y. Hilton, and Allen Robinson with his first 4 picks, followed by Doug Martin and Adrian Peterson. So I kind of like to look at people's drafts as the first 6 players kind of really deciding what this team is going to look like. It's their core, their foundation. So he's sitting here. He's got A.J. Green, T.Y. Hilton, Allen Robinson. That looks really, really good on paper. Some concerns about T.Y. Hilton without Andrew Luck. But no doubt one of the better wide receiving cores in the league, but not the best one. We'll get to that one. DeMarco Murray, I like him a lot this year. You got Doug Martin and Adrian Peterson at running back. Martin, of course, suspended the first 3 weeks of the season. So, I mean, those are good. DeMarco Murray should be a stud, holding him down. I like what he did with his first 6 picks. And then going into the later part of the draft with Jeremy Maclin, Eddie Lacy, Jeremy Hill. He picks up his first quarterback in round 10, Kirk Cousins. I like that pick there. Kirk Cousins should be, I don't know, top 8. He's been top 8 the last couple years, so good late pick there. I really like the Steelers' defense. He snagged them way before I would have thought about doing it, but I think they'll be good this year. And he rounds it out with some picks. So the kicker pick was Steven Hauschka. I don't know about that. You don't want the Bills kicker this year, I don't think. And then Jared Cook at tight end, definitely a little suspect there. He's going to have to do some work there, but that's probably the best position to be weak at. Overall, a good team, similar to his team last year, but a little bit stronger at running back this time around. But I do like him. All right, I'm here with Sebastian, a.k.a. The Cleansing. We're here right after the draft and just kind of get his thoughts on his draft. So how do you think it went, Sebastian?
As always, I think it went pretty well. I give myself an A+.
All right. I think you went pretty heavy wide receiver like you normally do.
Yeah, I did.
Who are your 3 wide receivers this year?
It's going to be A.J. Green, T.Y. Hilton, and then the third one's Allen Robinson, and then Macklin, and then Rashard Matthews. So the backups.
Okay. It's an interesting one. Robinson bit you last year.
I feel like he could do good. Every time someone talks bad about him, I don't know why, I get the strong urge that he's going to be great.
Okay.
I have no idea why, but that's how I feel about him.
I think he's a really talented guy. He played a little bit better when Doug Marrone took over at the end of last year, so I had some pretty high hopes for Robinson as well. You have a proven guy in Green and Hilton. If when luck comes back, you worry a little bit about Hilton without luck.
Yeah, I'm hoping that the backup quarterback just peppers. I mean, he's their best option, so why not just throw it to the best option?
Okay. Then who did you plug in at running back this year?
So my running back's the interesting one. So I got DeMarco Murray, solid. I got, right now, it's going to be Adrian Peterson, which is 1 year removed from being a first-round pick.
And he plays the Vikings week 1, revenge game.
Yeah, exactly. No, I actually have a lot of faith in Peterson. I think that Mark Ingram complements him. He'll be the 1-2 guy. Mark Ingram will be the third down passing guy, just like Peterson was most of his career.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be interesting to see how that backfield plays out because they have 3 really solid pieces in Ingram, Peterson, and Kamara. You kind of get the feeling, at least I do, that Adrian Peterson might be the touchdown guy.
Exactly.
So we'll see.
And then Doug Martin, when he comes back, will probably take that Peterson role. Peterson's flops. Eddie Lacy, if he somehow gets that start. Jeremy Hill, if the rookie don't start. And then Deion Lewis is kind of just a flyer.
And that you have DeMarco Murray?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. So you got the solid wide receiving core with a solid running back this year. I feel like you didn't have that last year. So
no, I think this is a lot stronger than a running back that I've had last year. Because the other years I had pretty good ones, surprisingly.
Okay.
So I would hit on the flyer.
So is there anyone you feel like you just barely missed out on?
Yeah, a couple guys. I feel like I barely missed on Tyler Eifert. I kept going back and forth. Should I draft him? Should I not?
He fell really far.
He did fall, like way too far. So once I didn't get him, I knew it was time to wait.
Who'd you end up with that tight end?
Jared Cook. So
really, that's your starting tight end?
Yeah, I actually like this pick a lot if he stays healthy, of course.
Okay.
But it's always the big if. I did look at his stats last year. It's like, if I remember correctly,
he played like 3 games.
Yeah, the games that he played, he was 10 points or more. And then every other game that he had points and he got injured. So
okay.
If he could keep that pace, obviously he'd be number 1.
We'll see how that goes. Okay.
Who knows?
So we've talked to a couple people already. We know the biggest reach of the draft was Kareem Hunt. Like that just that had some shocker value there. So who else do you think went way too early?
I mean, the next one's going to be Danny Woodhead or most of the players that...
It's the same team. Woodhead went very early. Yeah. Yes.
There's a couple guys. If I had the draft in front of me, I'd be able to know.
Okay, well, fair enough. Good pick. Who popped out at you as a solid pick for someone later on?
For someone later on.
Or even early
on.
I mean,
we just talked about him, Tyler Eifert. I thought that was a pretty good pick. He went after a lot of tight ends. He's probably going to score more.
Great value there. If he can stay healthy, he definitely is a potential to lead tight ends in touchdowns.
And then Andrew Luck as well went really late.
Yeah,
with that, I feel like it's pretty much a steal unless Andrew Luck's gone for more than 4 games.
Yeah, he just came off PUP, so I don't know. We'll see. But yeah, that could be a really good pick as well. All right, sir. Well, thanks for talking with me.
All
and good luck to you this season, sir.
Look forward to beating you week 1.
Week 1. So, Odell Beckham, Rob Gronkowski got some big star power there. Rounded out the running back core with Isaiah Crowell and Mark Ingram. Solid running backs there with Drew Brees, one of the top quarterbacks in the league. I would say the overall theme at least in my humble opinion, for this draft is just a round early. A round early for Matt here. Gronk, I guess if you really like him, 2.7's not too bad, but typically you want to wait a little bit for him. Crow went where he should go, but Breeze, normally a 5th rounder, could have waited a little bit. Mark Ingram maybe a little bit later, but Pierre Garçon's really what stood out to me. He should have gone a lot later. A lot of 49er fans in this draft, so maybe that's why he reached out for Pierre Garçon. But Pierre Garçon, Odell Beckham, Corey Davis make up the wide receiving core with Jordan Matthews on the bench. And Marquise Goodwin, another 49er on there. Not the greatest fan of this wide receiving core. Odell Beckham's got that ankle sprain, but he didn't have much of a choice there being in the awkward 6th spot this year. The rest of the running back core, we got Theo Riddick, Jamal Charles, and Rex Burkhead. Burkhead, that's a really high potential pick there. That's a really strong pick there. Hopefully it pans out for him because, frankly, I think you might need it in order to save this running back core. But Mark Ingram and Isaiah Crowell should hold it down pretty good. Solid foundation here. Got the Broncos D, should be one of the top units out here. But just need a little bit of work to solidify this team. But definitely could be a contender this year, as he was last year. All right, next up we got the Mean Machine. So you got Lev Bell. I mean, win right there on the draft already, but go through the rest here. So we got Lev Bell, Brandon Cooks, Dalvin Cook, Larry Fitzgerald, Golden Tate, and Paul Perkins in the top 6. So Lev Bell, Dalvin Cook with the running back core, very strong there, very good. Big potential there with Dalvin Cook. Brandon Cooks, Larry Fitzgerald, and Golden Tate. I don't like Brandon Cooks this year too much, the boom-bust potential, but rounded out nicely with Golden Tate and Larry Fitzgerald. Both those guys should just be solid week to week, so that should help with Brandon Cooks' up and down sort of way he plays. And then he come back, got Jamison Crowder in the 7th. I was looking for him coming back around, so another safe wide receiver bet there. So a lot of good pieces to work with at wide receiver here. The one concern as we go through the draft is wondering what is Marshall going to do at running back, because you got 2 good ones, but then you got Paul Perkins and Duke Johnson. Not something I necessarily would want to rely on going into this season. He did surprise us, Marshall that is, by waiting to take his quarterback much later this year than he normally does and is normally top 3 or 4 picks, but he took Phillip Rivers in the 9th. Should be a pretty strong pick. He's got a rough schedule to start the year, but I think still should be good value for him there. All right, so moving on to Vicious and Delicious here. All right, so a lot of trades here, but his first 6 picks ended up being Jay Ajayi, Des Bryant, Terrell Pryor, Keenan Allen, Matt Ryan, and Jordan Reed. So he went out here, built himself a pretty strong wide receiving core. It was up there for best, but I ended up going with somebody else. But Des Bryant, Terrell Pryor, Keenan Allen, very strong. Jay Ajayi at running back should hold down the running back spot as long as he can find someone to park next to him. And Matt Ryan, a solid quarterback choice. With Jordan Reed, I like Jordan Reed that late too. I probably would have taken him if he would have fell to me with my next pick. Definitely one of the only guys out there at tight end that could maybe contest with Rob Gronkowski if he can stay healthy. Big if, but like a lot of good quality players there in the first 6 picks. And then he rounded out the roster with Bilal Powell, Terrence West at running back to go along with Jay Ajayi. Definitely need to add some other pieces there, but it's workable. Grabbing Marcus Mariota as a backup quarterback, not sure why. I don't know. Maybe you'll sit Matt Ryan, maybe not. Tyrell Williams there, kind of almost like a handcuff to Keenan Allen, should keep that wide receiving core pretty strong. A solid defense in the Texans D. And then we have O.J. Howard, I guess, just as a backup to Jordan Reed, but I think if I recall during the draft correctly, he yelled out future pick, so maybe he's banking on O.J. Howard becoming a solid player and parking him on his bench all year. Drafted the injured Will Fuller, and then the Ravens defense there at the end. And then, so pretty overall good draft, very similar to last year. As long as the running backs hit, his team should be strong once again. So now, let's hear what Ryan thinks of his draft here with our little interview we did right after the draft. All right, I'm here with Ryan, a Vicious and Delicious, as most of you may know him. And we just finished the draft, and so we're going to get his thoughts on how it went. So first off, how do you like your team?
Well, I love my receivers, getting Des Bryant, Terrell Pryor, and Keenan Allen.
Okay, I like Keenan Allen late there.
Yeah, but running backs went really early in this draft. And
yeah, that was my fault and someone else's fault.
I really expected a few times. I thought Gurley and Fournette was going to fall to me.
Yeah, Fournette was an interesting one because Matt was looking. He already had 3 guys. Gurley was one of them. And he should have took a wide receiver, but he just couldn't pass up Fournette. But yeah, if you would have had Fournette on this team, he would have been instead of Terrell Pryor.
Yeah.
Still Pryor, yeah. Fournette with Ajayi, with Dez and Keenan, that would have been looking pretty dang good.
It's just there's so many receivers, and it's a lot easier to make up for the lack of the top tier receiver with multiple good receivers than it is running backs.
That's what I'm shooting for anyway.
Yeah, so hopefully Terrence West can come out of nowhere and get me some points.
I think that was a solid pick late. I think Bilal Powell is pretty solid late, but yeah, you'll definitely be looking for that waiver guy that's just going to blow up for people.
Powell scares me a lot just because of Matt Forte.
Yeah.
I'm not really sure.
I don't think he wants to play this year, so we'll see.
Yeah. For me, hopefully he doesn't.
Yes, indeed. So other people's drafts, what were some picks that shocked you? What do you think were some good ones?
Holy cow, Chess's pick, Kareem Hunt in the first round. You have to be kidding me. You could have got that guy in the late second.
Right out the gate, Chess.
Third.
Right out the gate. Holy crap. The homerism was just full-fledged homerism right there.
What were you thinking?
Yeah. I think I wanted Hunt, obviously. I didn't think I was going to get him because of where I was drafting, but Hunt, you could have got Hunt in the second, Chess. Easy, you could have gotten the second.
There were so many blue chips still.
Yeah, crazy. All right. Well, what kind of pick stood out to you as a good pick?
Oh gosh, when you took Zeke, I thought that was a great pick because I think he's gonna come back strong, and especially for that playoff run late in the season.
Yeah, we'll see. And as long as that suspension even gets reduced a little bit, I look like a genius. But if it's still 6 games,
that's hard.
That's brutal.
Yeah.
That's going to hurt this year.
Don't want to kill yourself before you can even get to the finish.
Indeed. Yeah. All right. Well, thank you, sir, for being on the show.
Thank you.
And we'll talk to you guys later. All right. So on to the next team now. It's me, Shipwreck's Crew. So, started off the draft with Jordy Nelson, Ezekiel Elliott, Ty Montgomery, C.J. Anderson, Amir Abdullah, and Derrick Henry. So lots of running backs very early. Took one big wide receiver in Jordy Nelson, and I got to hope and pray he plays great like he did last year because I don't have much else at wide receiver. We'll see in a second. Zeke was kind of a risky / future pick. Fingers still crossed that he somehow plays this year without much of suspension, if any. But if he does get suspended, that's going to suck for this year. I'm going to have to really try and pull something out of a hat here. But keeping Ezekiel Elliott in the second next year, that's pretty sweet. But Ty Montgomery, like him with C.J. Anderson, Amir Abdullah, very strong running back core. Should be one of the better ones in the year, for this year, but not the best, as we'll see. Derrick Henry, kind of a future pick. Then I grabbed the 2 Seahawks, Jimmy Graham and Russell Wilson. I like the Seahawks a lot this year. I'm hoping that combination right there pays dividends. Normally don't take a quarterback super early like this. Well, it wasn't that early, but great value on Russell Wilson. I couldn't pass it up. Jamal Williams to handcuff Ty Montgomery, then Donta Foreman to round out the running back core, just as a hope Lamar Miller gets injured and then Foreman takes off. And then I just threw a bunch of darts at wide receiver because everyone kept taking them all right before me. But Ted Ginn, I think, will surprise some people this year, and that's what I'm hoping for. Josh Jackson, Cooper Kupp, just kind of some flyers. Hope to catch lightning in a bottle there. With the late defense, who start the year off with 2 good matchups, should be pretty solid. So moving on to the next team here on my list, we got D's Nuts. So D's Nuts started off his draft in the second round because he traded his first. So he has Lamar Miller, Christian McCaffrey, Doug Baldwin, DeAndre Hopkins, Alshon Jeffrey, and Derek Carr as his first 6 picks. So kind of a mix and match of running backs and wide receivers. It's a solid wide receiving core with decent running backs. Nothing super exciting, but could be good. Derek Carr, that's a little early for me, especially coming from a Broncos fan. But should be it's a decent core. It's solid. And then he comes back and gets Stephon Diggs, who I like this year. Delaney Walker at tight end, who's that's not a little early for me, but I think he'll still be solid this year. Grabs the Seahawks defense, who looks scary after acquiring Richardson. Roethlisberger, I love that a lot. Roethlisberger, Derek Carr, he might be able to ride that all year long as a very good quarterback for the whole entire season. Latavius Murray kind of grasping for a running back there. Definitely the weakness of this team, really counting on Lamar Miller and Christian McCaffrey. So he'll be searching the waiver wire for running backs for sure. Grab some Giants and Sterling Shepard, Evan Ingram with the Jacksonville's D to back up the Seahawks there, which is probably wise because I think the Seahawks have the Packers week 1, so that'll be a tough matchup. All right, moving on to the next team here, we got Soulless Saint. Hi, bud. Have you come to interrupt my podcast? That's exciting. All right, so Michael started off the draft with LaShawn McCoy, Jordan Howard, 2 good running backs, and Joe Mixon as his third guy. Then he grabbed some wide receivers, which maybe is what I should have done, but Demaryius Thomas, Devontae Adams, and Eric Decker really put together a solid wide receiving core to go along with his above-average running backs. Definitely a strong start to the draft. Then bringing in Frank Gore after that. He's up there with one of the better running back cores in the league, I think. And so following suit of his brother, I think Mike's going to have a very, very good team this year. Have someone to compete with this year because the last couple of years haven't been so great for you, Michael. Sorry, bud, but you know it's true. He grabbed his boy Darren McFadden, ex-Raider, after that. John Brown, Zay Jones, 2 great sleeper wide receiver picks there right before me. Disappointed for myself, but good picks for Michael. And then Zach Ertz there in the 11th. That's an amazing pick. I like Zach Ertz a lot this year. And then finally grabbing a quarterback in Andy Dalton late in the 12th. Andy Dalton, good quarterback. Like him a lot this year. Nothing wrong with that pick. And then Eagles defense I even like late. I really like what Michael did this year. Different, to me at least, seems like a different philosophy from what he's done in the past years. So very interested to see how this team plays out for Michael. All right, so next up on my list is DP Hit Squad. So this is also where I divvy out one of my first awards of the night. But let's get to it. So Devonta Freeman, Amari Cooper, Carlos Hyde, Aaron Rodgers, Sammy Watkins, and Emmanuel Sanders kind of make up the core of this team here. Carlos Hyde, Devonta Freeman, incredibly solid, great duo there with Amari Cooper and Watkins and Sanders. Strong wide receiving core as well. Not going to blow anyone's socks off, but good. Aaron Rodgers, best quarterback at the 5th pick in the 4th round. Can't argue with that value there either. Just a very good, strong first 6 picks. And then comes back with Devontae Parker, who might have some huge upside this year. Pick 7. Gets the handcuff Tevin Coleman here. And this is my first award here for best value tight end of this year's draft was Tyler Eifert at 9.08. The dude is obviously got health concerns, but if he stays healthy, he's going to be a touchdown monster, and touchdowns are king in standard leagues like ours. So Tyler Eifert here in the 9th round, great value, should be a great, it just helps round out this excellent starting roster here. This roster's concerns is really at running back depth, where we bring in Alvin Kamara, James White. But the rest of the roster, rock solid. It was in the running for one of my favorite drafts of this year, but missed out just by a little bit. But very, very strong draft here. So moving on to the next person, We got humble domination. Now, Andrew didn't draft this team per se, but his dad did. We do know he agrees with that first pick, Antonio Brown. But moving along, he's got Antonio Brown, Marshawn Lynch, Tom Brady, Michael Crabtree, Greg Olsen, and Fat Rob Kelly here with his first 6 picks. So we got a solid foundation with Antonio Brown and Michael Crabtree at wide receiver, with a solid, maybe underwhelming Marshawn Lynch, Rob Kelly running back core, but it'll get the job done. Greg Olsen at tight end is solid. Tom Brady at quarterback, gotta like that. He should be one of the, if not the top quarterback this year. Lots of weapons. Then we come back and we get Deshaun Jackson, Adam Thielen, Thomas Rawls, Dante Moncrief, Matt Forte, Dak Prescott, which I believe, yes, is my best value quarterback of the draft. But Dak Prescott at 12.10, almost a 13th round pick for Dak Prescott, who is one of the top quarterbacks from last year. Very consistent, should throw more this year. Really like that pick. There was some close ones, but I mean, I really like that pick there. Grab the Giants defense, a little underwhelming at defense, but they may surprise again this year. Pretty solid team. Again, going back to running back is going to need a little bit of help there, but the rest of the team pretty solid there. Andrew should have something to work with there. Moving on to my last 3 teams here, we got Sergeant Smash. So Nick did lots of trading, as he likes to do. So his first 6 picks end up being Julio Jones, Mike Evans, Kelvin Benjamin, Mike Gillislee, LeGarrette Blount, and Cam Newton. So this is where I give out the award for best wide receiving core. Julio and Mike Evans, elite tandem right there, with Kelvin Benjamin in the 3rd spot, who I like this year. Maybe a little early for my taste, but just a really good wide receiving core. I think he tagged on a bunch of rookies at the end of the draft, with Mike Williams, John Ross, and Kenny Golladay. So he should keep this wide receiving core going as one of the top units for a while. That is, if he doesn't trade them all away. Running back, definitely concerned with this team. Mike Gillislee, LeGarrette Blount, Jonathan Stewart kind of make up the guts of this running back core. A lot of question marks. So I'm sure he'll do some trading here to fix that up, but right now definitely looking like one of the weaker running back units in the league. Grabbed Cam at quarterback, who I like this year, maybe a smidge early for my taste. He went before Russell Wilson, which I thought was a little crazy. Martellus Bennett at tight end, again, a little early for my taste. He does play in one of the better offenses in the league, but tight end's never been too big of a position for Green Bay, so we'll see how that plays out. And Steven Gostkowski at 11, come on, man. The kickers should not be going before round 14, but even they should be 15, but I'll give you guys 14, but whatever. Let's hear what Nick had to say about his draft. Here's Nick right after. All right, I'm here with Nick Seba, a.k.a. Sergeant Smash, right after our draft here. He made a lot of trades going into the draft, a lot of them. And so how do you feel about your team after all those trades?
Well, I feel pretty good about my wide receivers. The running backs got really drafted a lot heavier than I thought they would.
Yes, that was me and Matt's doing, again, yes.
4 running backs in the first 4 picks each.
Yes, indeed.
Yeah, that sucked. But, with the combination of Mike Williams, Julio Jones, and Kelvin Benjamin, I think I have a decent wide receiver core to cover up the...
you got Julio, Kelvin, you got someone else too, don't you?
Mike Evans.
Yes. Yeah, no, definitely one of the best wide receiving cores in the league at this point, if not the best. And you kind of started last year like that too.
Yes.
Made some trades and kind of went from there. Well, then into other people's drafts then, where did you think someone, we'll start off with
Kareem Hunt.
Okay. Well, yes, Kareem Hunt was definitely the biggest shocker of the draft. We've touched on that a little bit already. Is there another pick that stood out to you as kind of a reach?
The quarterbacks falling after the initial flurry of quarterbacks.
Yeah, we did have a little spurt there.
Yeah, we got a couple early. I felt that I had to go Cam Newton, I think in the 7th or 8th round.
Somewhere in there, yeah.
And I thought that was pretty good value for him, but after seeing who fell to the later rounds, like Dak Prescott fell to the 14th, I believe.
Yeah.
Andy Dalton fell to like the 13th or the 12th.
Crazy. Yeah, I agree. I love Cam Newton this year. I think Cam Newton's going to have a great year. His schedule is very, very nice and cushy. They're changing up the offense a little bit, and I felt the same way with my Russell Wilson pick, where I took him, and I was like, all right, I feel good about this at that moment. And then as the draft kept going, I was like, shit, man.
I could have waited.
Shit, I could have gotten someone that I liked a lot later. Yeah, go ahead.
That bit me with the running back, so I thought I could find somebody later on. Luckily, Jonathan Stewart lasted that long, and I picked up Mike Gillislee as my first running back. Yeah, which is scary.
It's a little scary, but he looks good. He looked good on the Bills, and he could have that touchdown potential.
Well, yeah, he's taken over the blunt role, so
that's what they say. We'll see.
Well, yeah, I mean, Burkhead scares me a little bit, but Burkhead's kind of an unknown. I mean, he had a couple good games in Cincinnati last year.
Indeed. That last week he had a ton of carries, I think a couple touchdowns. He looked really good.
Yeah. So.
All right, sir. Well, thanks for being on the podcast, and good luck to you this year.
Good luck to you.
I'm sure I'll be hearing from you on the trade market here pretty soon. All right, and so two more. This here is Biloxi Beach Bomb Squad, or Chess's draft here. So he started off with the shocker, Kareem Hunt, and then he followed with a regular pick, Kelsey, a little early homer pick, but not too crazy, and then another shocker with Danny Woodhead in the early 4th. This is my award for worst draft pick of the draft. Kareem Hunt, Danny Woodhead, kind of a combination here. Super early for both those guys. Maybe, Chess, you were afraid I was going to take Kareem Hunt at my first or second pick, but I wouldn't have gone that early on Kareem Hunt. I like him. I think he'll be good. But taking him at the first pick a little early and robs you of some decent keeper value going forward. Still should be a decent player for you, though, but let's go through the rest of the picks. So Kareem Hunt, Michael Thomas, Travis Kelce, Danny Woodhead, Jarvis Landry, and Brandon Marshall. Wide receiving core should be okay. Grab some upside guys later that I liked. Kelce at tight end should be pretty solid. But Kareem Hunt, Danny Woodhead, and who else do we have at running back? Jacquizz Rodgers. I mean, they're definitely not looking too hot at the running back core. Better hope and pray Kareem Hunt is the second coming of David Johnson. But, well, I don't see that coming to fruition. Grab the Chiefs defense in true homer status there. With Jameis Winston at quarterback. Got him pretty late. I like that pick later on. And some solid picks, like I said, at sleeper, wide receiver, Corey Coleman, Randall Cobb, Mike Wallace. Some decent spots there. So it's got some stuff to work with, but need to make up some ground at running back there, Chess. And so lastly, we have Mr. ... Now he traded into some crazy value this year. So all right, then we got Matthew here. Well, I don't know what to say about this draft here. Absolutely stunning running back core with Leonard Fournette, Todd Gurley, Melvin Gordon, David Johnson. All those guys have running back 1 upside and like running back 2 floors. So that's going to be absolutely brutal going up against Matt every week with those running backs, barring injury, of course. So easy award here for best running back core. Not even close. And then he comes back, grabs some wide receivers with some high upside, possibly really low floors, but Martavis Bryant, Tyreek Hill, Chris Hogan, a very intriguing wide receiver tandem there. Grab Kyle Rudolph in the 10th, which I thought was great value. But then grabbing Andrew Luck with 11, 12. I mean, that's such good value, almost a 12th rounder for Andrew Luck. He's waiting on quarterback, and this is a top-tier quarterback here. If Andrew Luck comes back and plays like he normally does, he's going to have not only an elite running back core, but an elite quarterback to go with that. Those wide receivers have huge upside, too. I mean, this team could absolutely blow up this year and set all types of records. So definitely goes as my best draft best team drafted this year as well. Absolutely stunning. And the Andrew Luck pick is my favorite draft pick of the draft. So just absolutely bananas team. Not looking forward to this team going up against it. I'm just glad I only have to play it once this year. All right, guys. Well, that's it for my draft recap show. If you guys have any questions or comment below. Post in the Facebook Messenger. You know where to hear from me. Get out there and post your videos and earn your fab. All right. Later.